Welcome to Lost Love Mystery, where every story unravels a secret. So, let's dive into another story. Logan was sitting on the couch, flipping through channels, but he wasn't really watching. His mind was clouded with suspicion. His wife, Amber, had been acting distant lately, frequently coming home late with weak excuses. Logan couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong. He heard Amber's footsteps approaching and braced himself for what was to come. Amber entered the living room with an unusually cheerful demeanor. Logan looked up, narrowing his eyes. "Where are you going now?" he asked, trying to keep his voice calm. "Chris is waiting outside. Let me go introduce you to him," Amber said in an almost too casual tone. Logan's blood boiled instantly. His fists clenched as he struggled to control his anger. "Chris, who's this Chris?" he asked. Amber shrugged nonchalantly, but a fleeting look of guilt crossed her eyes. Logan stood up, towering over Amber. With his tall and powerful stature, "If that man steps foot in this house, I'll break his jaw. And if you go with him, you won't be coming back here again," he said, his voice deep and filled with anger. Amber's eyes widened for a moment, but she quickly composed herself. Squaring her shoulders, she gave Logan a defiant look. "I'm going, Logan. You can't control me," she said, her voice cold and resolute. Logan's heart raced as he watched Amber walk out the door. He wanted to shout to stop her, but his pride kept him rooted in place. The door closed, and a wave of anger and betrayal washed over Logan. He looked out the window and saw the black car waiting on the curb. The tall man leaning against it, smoking a cigarette, was Chris. Logan glared at him, still clenching his fists. He considered confronting the man, but knew it wouldn't help. He took a deep breath and stepped back from the window. "Before dive into my story, if you don't want your life to be turned upside down like mine, subscribe to my channel to learn real lessons from the real stories we share every day, just like mine. Also share your thoughts about the shocking truths I've experienced in the comments, and please show your support by liking my video. Now that you've subscribed, let's dive into my story." Amber felt a rush of adrenaline as she walked towards Chris's car. The black vehicle gleamed under the streetlights, a stark contrast to her mundane life. The thrill of the illicit affair clouded her judgment, blinding her to the consequences ahead. Chris opened the car door for her, giving her a confident smile. "Ready for an unforgettable night?" he asked. Amber nodded and got into the car. "Let's go have some fun," she said, her voice full of excitement. As they drove through the city, the lights blurred around them. Chris turned up the music and accelerated. Amber looked at him. His sharp features and relaxed demeanor were the complete opposite of the tension she felt at home with Logan. Chris parked the car in front of a luxury hotel, handed the keys to the valet, and led Amber inside. The lobby was lavish with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Amber's high heels clicked on the polished surface as they headed towards the elevator. In the elevator, Chris pulled her close, his hand resting on her waist. Amber's heart was racing. Chris led them to a suite at the end of the corridor. When he opened the door, they were greeted by a spacious bed, luxurious furniture, and a panoramic view of the city. Chris wasted no time pouring them each a glass of champagne. They toasted, and Amber took a sip, feeling the bubbles dance on her tongue. Chris set his glass down and pulled Amber into a passionate kiss. The outside world disappeared, and they found themselves engulfed in a wild and passionate evening. Throughout the night, they ordered room service, enjoying a luxurious dinner in the privacy of the suite. The night was filled with laughter, whispered secrets, and stolen glances. Amber had forgotten about Logan and the life she was risking. She reveled in the freedom and excitement Chris brought. Later that night, they moved to the bedroom. Moonlight streamed through the windows, casting a soft glow in their bodies. Amber felt a mixture of excitement and guilt, but pushed those feelings aside to enjoy the moment. Hours passed, and they eventually fell asleep in each other's arms. However, the thrill of the night was short-lived. Amber woke up under the harsh light of dawn. The reality of her actions began to set in. Chris was still asleep, and Amber carefully extricated herself from his embrace. She looked out the window, thinking about Logan and the life she had jeopardized. The house was empty without Amber, but Logan knew he had to move forward. He gathered all of Amber's belongings, packing them into boxes, labeling each one with her name, and lining them up in the garage. The process was mechanical, his sole purpose to erase her presence from his life. Logan changed the locks on the front and back doors, blocked Amber's number on his phone. The pain of betrayal was still fresh, but he was determined to take control of his life. Logan spent hours in his home office, planning his next steps. He was determined to make Amber pay for what she had done, but his revenge had to be calculated and precise. Logan made a to-do list. First on the list was contacting his lawyer, Lucas. The next morning, Logan met with his lawyer, Lucas. In his office, a thick file lay between them. Lucas asked for details, and Logan recounted Amber's betrayal and her escape with Chris. Lucas took notes, occasionally asking questions. Logan described the surveillance system he had set up at home. Everything was documented. Lucas looked at Logan seriously. "Good. We need detailed evidence of her infidelity. Photos, videos, any records of their meetings." As Logan gathered this evidence, he became even more resolved to make Amber pay. A week later, Amber returned home after her fun times with Chris, thinking she could make things right with Logan. She parked her car in front of the house, hoping Logan would be inside, but was met with locked doors and silence. Frustrated, she pounded on the door. "Logan, let me in," she shouted. Logan stood behind the window, watching her calmly. "You made your choice, Amber. Now live with it," he said coldly. Amber realized Logan wouldn't let her back in. In desperation, she tried the door handles, but nothing budged. Logan's face disappeared, and Amber's heart raced. She pounded on the door, pleading, "Please, Logan, I was wrong. Let me explain." But Logan had no intention of opening the door. Amber wandered around looking for an open window or door, but found nothing. Exhausted and desperate, she sat down by the door, tears streaming down her face. Amber thought of calling Chris, but knew he had also distanced himself from her. She realized she was alone, having lost all support. A week later, she returned to the house, hoping Logan would still be inside. But again, she was met with silence. She found a note stuck to the door. "Amber, your belongings are in the garage. Take them and leave. My lawyer will send you the divorce papers. See you in court." Amber went to the garage and gathered her things. As she loaded each box into her car, tears flowed incessantly. She checked into a nearby motel. The room was small and impersonal. Amber sat on the bed, looking at the boxes surrounding her. The gravity of her situation and the weight of losing Logan overwhelmed her. The next day, she called her lawyer to ask what to do. Her lawyer explained that Logan had built a strong case, and Amber had no chance of contesting it. The house, the money, her future, everything was being taken away. She spent her days in the motel room, searching for jobs, but every application was rejected. Months passed, and Amber received no support from her former friends. Everyone had learned about her betrayal and wanted nothing to do with her. Amber realized she was alone, facing the consequences of her choices. Logan, on the other hand, was building a new life in his new home. Far from old memories, his new house was modern and spacious. He had taken up woodworking, setting up a small workshop. He spent weekends with friends, hiking, and nature. Logan had rebuilt his life to erase the traces of Amber's betrayal. In his new home, Logan left the way to the past. Thanks for watching Lost Love Mystery. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more hidden truths.